Hi, Stamper fans. Welcome to another Make It Monday. I am so glad you're here. Whether you're watching me live on Facebook or you're watching the replay on YouTube, I am so happy you're joining me. I'm Nan Gerlitz, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Bloomington, Illinois, and I am here to help you connect with your people, whether that's gathering to craft together or you making handmade items to share with them. It's all about making and deepening those connections. So let's get to it. All right. First up, as usual, we get two Friday night Stampin' results. For those of you that might be new here, my husband actually joins me down in the studio every Friday night, and we each make a card. We post them on my Facebook page and Instagram for all of you to vote on which one's your favorite. And then Monday, I reveal the winner. And the winner was, for the fourth week in a row, my husband. Hi, Penny. Congratulations to Russ again. I really have to step up my game on Friday. But this is also proof that sometimes when we sit down and we think, oh, that was so simple, that was like I didn't put enough work into it. If you've been stamping for a while, if you've been crafting for a while, you kind of get that build up in your head, like I could do better, I can do more, I can use more things. This was such a quote unquote simple card. It's very monochromatic, mostly misty moonlight in ink color. He even colored the leaves in the misty moonlight in the background paper. This ribbon is actually the backside of this paper, and he just made a little flagged end. Tiny bit of that pop of red, which I love. But I'm sure that most of us would sit down and think, oh, well, the paper did all the work, or, I didn't use all the tools or whatever. And y'all loved it. So, and then mine was actually made with one that is on the last chance list. So this is the Friendly Fins bundle. I used the stamp set and the dies to make this one. And, this bundle is on the last chance list. So, if you want it, if you love it, hop on over there now and grab it. Okay. So he is just darn creative. Somebody said it, and that I taught him well. So we'll just go with that. So, everybody's got to start somewhere, and I taught him things. So I'm going to take partial credit, I guess. All right. A reminder for those of you in the Bloomington Normal area, Illinois, the next free class that I'm holding is May 24th from 1 to 4 p.m. It's kind of a stop in and stamp. We make one free card, so it could take you maybe half an hour, or maybe you want to hang out the whole 3 hours, and that's fine. So I did want to share a few things that I got for Mother's Day. I had a very lovely weekend. I woke up first to this lovely card from my husband. So he was very excited. He told me afterwards that he came downstairs to make me a card, and he was kind of like, wah, wah, on all the stamp sets that we use kind of every week. And then he realized he had a whole other section of retired stuff that he could use, because this was just a card for me. So super cute. Loved it. The other thing, super fun, as y'all know, I work at a library as my day job, and I'm a big reader. My daughter's a big reader. Our grandboys are big readers, and they got me this book. Kylie said she was in a store and saw it, and it was like, yeah, absolutely. Where the Wild Things Are is one of my favorite children's books. I have two favorite children's books, Harold and the Purple Crayon and Where the Wild Things Are. And so she found this, and I highly recommend it to all you moms out there. It is super fun. The boys immediately, as soon as I opened it, went, "Can you read it to us?" So I had to, of course, read it, and it's hilarious. So I recommend that. The other thing we got, which was such a fun surprise, best handmade gift ever. Russ took the two older boys out into the garage, and they made us book stands. So I've seen something similar on Etsy, and he kind of figured out how to do it. So I will post a picture on Instagram and Facebook, both of those. But basically, it's a wooden stand, and then you can just prop your book on it, and it keeps keeps it to the page you're on. So that is on my nightstand now. Love it. Kylie was very excited about that. All right. So I hope all the rest of you moms had a lovely Mother's Day as well. We had a great weekend with her and the boys visiting. And we're tuckered out, let me tell you that. Okay, so we are on our second week of the month, second Monday of the month anyway, and that means it is time to interpret a sketch. So I have pulled out our new catalog, which I can finally open up on camera and show you the inside. And on page 24 of this catalog, we have some great sketches down here. So we are going to interpret this sketch, this little tag sketch here. And I have done a literal interpretation for you so you can see like, hey, if you wanted to do it exactly as is, I made a tag, super, super cute, very easy, right? And so that's kind of what we're going after tonight. And I am using the entire suite, the celebratory Sips suite. That's a tough one. And let me show you what's included in that. You've seen some things already that we've been using because it's one of our newest products here in the studio and we love it. So super fun little drink stamp set. It's got all the garnishes, the little umbrella, the ice cubes, some fun sayings, and all of the dies to go with everything, which is really nice. So yes, so we'll be using that. It also comes with, the entire suite has this, what are we calling this? Gold striped ribbon. So how pretty is that? Nice and shimmery and delicate. Love it. So we're using that tonight. And these holographic resin dots, which I know I have used on some things as well. Love those. And, but wait, there's more. Also, 2 of the mini embossing folders. So one of them, let me see if we can do this. There we go. One of them is this floral kind of stripe, very cool. And the other, which we'll be using tonight, is this kind of more geometric, graphic pattern. Russ has used it before, and then I'm using it tonight as well. But wait, of course, there's more. There's paper. There's always paper in our suites, right? So I've just pulled out one of each of the sheets so you can get a good idea of what you've got. So there is this fabulous big sheet of just all sorts of libations, which I have used on the Fun Fold card recently. And then nice bright pinks on the back. Then we've got some beautiful, I don't know if this is lavender or what it is, but it's all pinks and purples and gorgeous. And then a nice green stripe on the back of that. And then we've just got some nice watercolor, soft rectangles. So you could make drinks out of those, obviously, or you could just use them as is, as fabulous little palettes. You could actually just cut them out as is and use them to stamp other images. And then this fabulous star design, which I love, one of our new in colors, the cloud cover, which we'll be using tonight, as a matter of fact. This paper, which is one of the ones where you can cut out all these drinks with the dies. Love that they always coordinate that. Stampin' Up! Is so good at coordination, whether it's color coordination, image coordination, tool coordination. They're all about it. And then this fabulous blackberry, and I don't know, I think that's berry burst maybe. Love it. And then we have all of our garnishes, our nice little orange rind twists, and I think we've got some rosemary in here, and lemons and limes and yums. And this looks black, but it is actually, I believe, Secret Sea, which is a deep, 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 deep blue. It's pretty much almost black. So it's a nice alternative to black. And then we've got a sea of flowers and our orange stripes. So lots of very a good variety of images in the papers. So, okay. So let us start to assembling our sketch card. So I did pre-cut some things, pre-die cut some things, so we don't have to do quite so much. And I did die cut, so this little drink with the ice cubes in it was already good to go. And then these guys actually had some garnishes that were coming out of them, and I had to cut them off with the dies, but we're going to show you how to kind of cheat around that a little bit. Okay, so pulling the colors right from the paper, I'm using an old olive base. And as always, the supply list is linked in the video description. So if you're wondering, if you miss what I said we're using, or if you're wondering about ordering information, all of that is available in the on that supply list link. All right, so we're going to stamp the greeting. We're going to stamp the garnishes. We need to stamp a little piece inside as well. Okay. So I've got just an old olive ink pad, and then I have some markers. So we are going to get to it. Let's grab our little Let's Celebrate. So on our sketch, we've got a strip that's going through the center of everything. So we're going to make that our greeting. And this set is really nice for things like that because it does have some tiny words. It's got the big cheers, but then everything else is a little smaller. So they fit great on those little strips of paper, which we all have floating around our studio or our craft room or our bin that we carry to the kitchen table to craft, right? Because not all of us are lucky enough to have a studio yet. So I wasn't for many years. All right, we're going to use this little guy. I am also not very good at identifying garnishes because I don't drink the kind of drinks that have those kind of garnishes in them. And I don't do a lot of cooking, so I can't always identify things. So not sure what that leafy guy is. Could be some basil, maybe. Could be, I don't know. Not even going to guess anymore. Penny probably knows. So that's going to be my inside little piece. We'll get that out of the way right away, right? We have less to worry about. I was wondering if it was mint. Thank you, Penny. I knew you would know. Okay. So this is the cloud cover, by the way. It's just a nice bluish gray, very pretty, very nice. It's practically a neutral. So, okay. So we are going to take that mint. We're going to stamp it on there. All right, and then Penny, hopefully you'll know what this one is too. I don't know if it's lavender or what. So I just stamped that one in all green, but I am going to color the flowers in just like it was on the original one on the paper. I'm going to grab my Berry Burst marker. This is just the regular Stampin' Write markers, the watercolor, the water-based markers. Just going over that so we have some color there. And then I also have an old olive marker, and I'm going to color in this mint, but I'm going to kind of do it, I'm going to dot it. So it looks a little more variegated. And when I was doing this to start with, I was like, oh, that looks awful. But then when it's done, it looks fine. So just like pretty much any other kind of art, right? When you're doing it, you think I've messed this up. And then it's done and you're fine. So, okay. So now we need to do a little bit of die cutting, a little bit of embossing. Let me clear my area a little bit here. So you absolutely could use the mini machine for this. because those embossing folders are mini sized. They're like half size, so they work in the mini. I'm just grabbing my large guy because my big boss, because he's right here. Okay, so we've got our tall garnish, I don't know, rosemary, lavender, whatever it is. This is why I'm a stamping expert. I am not a vegetation expert. And then our mint. I'm pretty sure one of the other ones is this tops is celery because it looks like it's maybe in a Bloody Mary. So I know that much at least. Okay. So we've got our long, tall one and our mint. Nice. He's back on the magnets so I don't lose them. And then we need to do our embossing. Now, for these, normally when I'm doing embossing, if you have followed along for any length of time, normally I grab the specialty plate to do our embossing, but that's usually because I'm using it could be oregano. Yes. Thank you. Because I'm usually using a 3D embossing folder, which is thicker, but these are standard embossing folders. So it'll tell us right on our main plate here, hey, if you're doing a standard embossing folder, you just need plate number 1, and then you need 2 of the plate number 3s, which are the clear ones. And you just put your embossing folder in between those. So I'm going to grab that guy. Another little trick that I have learned is on the logo side of this, you will see that there is a black line on either side of the logo. So if you want something straight, like if it's a pattern like this that definitely has a straightness to it, you know, a definite line, if you line your cardstock up against those lines, then you know that that's going to be straight. If it's a random pattern, like a all over floral or something, I guess it doesn't really matter if it's straight, right? So just put it in so everything is in and you're good. All righty, so then we have that really pretty, there we go. So that is the embossed side, or if you'd rather, you can use the debossed side, which is indented. Okay, so either one you want. I'm going to use the embossed side, so it sticks up. Okay, now we need our pretty, pretty ribbon. And I'm going to grab my tear and tape because if you've been following me for a minute, you know I like to apply ribbon with my tear and tape. Now, the other cool thing about embossing folders like this is for, how shall we say, persnickety people like me. I can put this ribbon like right along the lines of this embossed image, and I know it's going to be straight. So then I can line it up with that same line on the other side. It makes me happy. Because as much as I try to tell myself, it doesn't matter if it's a little crooked, you know, it matters to me, right? Nobody else does it matter to. Person receiving this card, no. Yeah, they are showing it with purple flowers. So that's why I was wondering if it might be lavender. But I don't know nothing. I am not the vegetation expert. I know I have gorgeous lilac bushes in my yard, and I'm very, very happy for them. And they are blooming right now and just smells so good. So the reason, in case you have not heard me say it, that I like to apply ribbon with tear and tape is because tear and tape is a very strong double-sided tape. So if you attach the ribbon to the card with it, it's got a good hold just to hold that ribbon in place. And then when you put this on the card base, it is going to help hold that whole card front down, because the ribbon kind of wants to, it's got some pressure there, right? It's got just some, it wants to pull away, but that tear and tape holds it very nice and in place. All right, so we've got our embossing done. We've got our die cutting done. We need to assemble, we need to put some garnishes on these little drinks. So what I do in that case is I'm just going to put just a dab of, whoa, unless of course there's a big bubble, just a little dab of the liquid glue on the bottom. And then I can just kind of line that stem up. And this one as well. So obviously, if you look very close, you will see that I doctored that together, but you know, just at a quick glance, I've just put those garnishes right back in those glasses. So easy way to do that. So don't fret. You don't have to do any fussy cutting if you're going to cut it out of the papers. So, all right, then we need some dimensionals. I am actually going to use my tear and tape on this green drink because I'm going to put that flat to the card, but I want it to be over the ribbon. So I want to make sure again that it's not pulling away. And I'm also going to go over that little garnish, and that'll help hold that in place as well. Our liquid glue is really strong, so I'm not worried about that coming off, but as long as I'm putting tape on there. Lavender lemonade. Yes, that does sound delightful and true to the color of that, right? So we are using these drinks in place of our circles on our sketch, if you haven't figured that out yet, because I have not been talking about the sketch. So anytime you have shapes like that, it's basically just a placeholder for anything you want. So we've got this one goes up a little bit higher, right? So I'm going to do that same thing. And there was kind of half a lime that was from another drink on there. So I'm just covering that up with my tall drink. And then again, I'm going to go over that little garnish with a dimensional. That'll also help hold that in place. Oops. And this one is going to sit lowest of all. And then we are going to grab a little sliver of the edge piece here. I could put this on flat or I could use dimensionals, so either way. But if you cut off the little edge piece of the dimensionals, then it's really perfect for these strips of greetings. Like use it all the way to the edge, right? So I'll pop that right there. Now the only thing we have left is there was two little circles down there on the sketch, and I'm going to grab those hologram dots, and I'm actually going to move them up here because I've got kind of more, you know, white space or dead space as it is up here. So we're going to grab a large one, I guess that's medium, and a small one. And I know I normally tell you to put 3 of everything on there, but I guess between the drinks and that, you've got 5, right? So that's an odd number. So there is my interpretation of that tag sketch. So just because you've got a tag that you see doesn't mean you have to make a tag. You can reinvent that as something else. If you need a card, if you need a scrapbook page, if you need gift packaging, like just use it as a jumping off point, right? So there is my card interpretation. Now you could also make a tag just like this, a little smaller, and just put it on the front of a card, and boom, you're there. Good. You're good there too. Now I have one other example for you, and that is not using any sort of die cuts or punches or anything like that. I've put images directly on the card front with our resourceful Rusty. So I've got those kind of 3 blobs, right? 3 images, and then I've got my strip here. And I added a little interest just like last week by cutting off the corner and stamping that little plaid guy that comes with him. So absolutely love Rusty. So there you go. You've got a tag, you've got a more sophisticated card, you've got a more fun card, lots of very cute options to do with that sketch, right? So I know the cloud cover is pretty good, right, Penny? Yeah, I really did enjoy that a lot as a base because I didn't want a white base. And I was like, I don't know what color. And then I just plopped those drinks onto the cloud cover and it looked great. So it is a really good, nice, quiet, neutral. So, but it's not white. It's not, plain. So, all righty. So there are my interpretations of that. Like I said, the supply list for the Let's Celebrate card is in the video description. The supply list for both of these plus measurements will be in this week's newsletter. So if you have not subscribed to that, click on the link and do that as well. And next week, we're going to have Technique Week. So I'm kind of wondering from all of you, drop a comment and tell me if there's some technique that you've been wanting to learn or you need to see again or you're just curious about. And I'll see if I have the stuff to share it with you next week. All righty. Let's see. Pop back up here. Sorry, lots of us. The other thing I wanted to make sure to mention is right now through the end of May, we have the greatest deal that you can get. You can get $165 in products for only $99 plus tax, free shipping, which is fabulous. And that is by purchasing the starter kit. Wherein you become a demonstrator. Now you can become a demonstrator like I am and do classes and do lives and things, or you can become a demonstrator like our dear friend Penny is and be a discount diva, which there are more of them than there are of me. Which means you can just take advantage of your discount on personal orders all the time. The discount starts at 20% and can very quickly go to 25 or more. So if you want to check all of that out, what I would suggest is just go to stampernan.com and click on the link that says Get the Best Deal Here, and all of the info is on that page. There's great FAQs down at the bottom of that page, and then there's also a link that you can just click to get that starter kit and take advantage of this fabulous deal, because it's a good deal, $365, but this month it's even better. So, all righty, that is all I have for you tonight. So thanks so much for joining me. Here's your reminder. If you got some new tips, if you got some good inspiration, go ahead and tag your bestie in the comments or share the video with them so that they can learn some new things too. Till next week, I'm still Nan Gerlitz. Happy stamping.